New Hampshire has always carried a strange kind of quiet. Not the unsettling kind, nothing cold, nothing frightening, but the type of quiet that settles over a place like a soft blanket. Its forests hum in low tones, its lakes barely ripple, and its towns breathe slowly, as if time moves just a little differently there. In the northeastern corner of the state, past a long stretch of maple trees and a shallow river that curved like a half-moon, lay the small town of Willowbrook. The town had no more than 3,000 people, a single stoplight, one elementary school, and a main street lined with a diner, a hardware shop, a grocery store, and a tiny library. That library was where Ethan Miles, 35 years old, quiet to the bone, worked every weekday except Sunday. Ethan had been in Willowbrook for almost 9 years. Before that, he had drifted, city to city, small job to small job, never quite fitting into anything. Willowbrook was the first place that didn't push him away. The town had a pace slower than his heartbeat, and the forest that surrounded it felt almost like a companion. Every night, after the library closed and the sun dipped behind the ridges, Ethan walked. Sometimes a mile, sometimes 2. Sometimes he wandered for hours. He told people it cleared his head, but truthfully, it was the only time he felt completely alive. The quiet spoke to him in a way people never did. On one particular autumn night, when the air carried the unmistakable scent of fallen leaves and a thin mist hovered low to the ground, Ethan left the library a little after 9:30 p.m. He locked the door, adjusted his scarf, and stepped into the cold. The moon was a faded crescent, hanging low and yellow. Street lamps flickered lightly, and the town felt even smaller than usual. Ethan tucked his hands in his coat pockets and headed toward the forest path he knew by heart. The path led into the willow forest, named for the thin willow trees that stood like tall, quiet guardians along the edges. Inside, pines and oaks took over. The leaves glowed faintly under the moonlight. The forest was peaceful, not the fabricated peace of a meditation recording, but real peace, the kind that lived deep in the soil. Ethan inhaled and let the cold air fill him. This was his sanctuary, a place where his thoughts moved like water, slow, gentle, and without interruption. He walked for 20 minutes before it happened. At first, he thought it was just moonlight catching on frost, a flicker, a glimmer, something that wasn't supposed to be there. He stopped walking. The forest held its breath with him. There it was again. A soft blue glow, far ahead between 2 thick pines. It wasn't bright. It didn't pulse. It hovered. Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Probably someone camping," he murmured to himself. But no one camped this deep in Willow Forest in early October. The air was too cold, and the town discouraged it after several wildlife incidents years before. Ethan stepped forward, slow and careful, listening for voices or movement. Nothing. Just wind brushing against branches. He took a few more steps. The glow shifted, upward, downward, as if floating on a slow, invisible current. His breath hitched. Something about the light didn't feel random. It didn't feel like a flashlight or lantern. It felt almost controlled. A soft breeze brushed past him, carrying a faint whisper of pine resin and damp leaves. Ethan walked toward the glow, each step making the silence heavier around him, though not in a frightening way. The forest wasn't warning him. It was watching him. As he drew closer, the glow brightened enough to reveal something beneath it. A stone circle. Small stones arranged in a nearly perfect ring, perhaps 3 feet wide. They were covered in moss, blending into the forest floor. At the center of the ring was a single white feather, perfect, unbent, untouched by dirt. And hovering above it was the blue light. Ethan blinked slowly. "What is this?" The glow hummed faintly, a sound he felt more than heard, like vibration through the air. He crouched down beside the stone circle, examining the feather. No footprints, no disturbed earth, no sign that anyone had been there recently. He held out his hand. The glow leaned toward him. It didn't surge or flare. It simply drifted, like it was curious. As his fingertips neared the light, the world around him shifted. The trees faded, the leaves dissolved. The night itself seemed to thin like smoke. A vision formed. Not a hallucination, Ethan felt certain of that. It was too clear, too real. The forest reappeared, but not as it was now. It was younger, trees shorter, fewer trails, no signs of modern life. And standing near the stone circle was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old. Long dark hair, a pale blue dress, and a small bracelet made of woven string. Her eyes were bright but soft, like she had already lived many lifetimes. Ethan recognized the face from a picture he had seen years ago. Helena Carter. The child who had vanished from Willowbrook 27 years earlier. His disappearance had become the town's quiet tragedy. No body was found, no footprints, nothing but confusing theories and a few shredded pages from the diary she kept. Eventually, the town stopped talking about it, but her name still lived in the creases of old conversations. Ethan whispered, "Helena?" The girl in the vision smiled, sad, gentle, peaceful. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Ethan strained to hear, but the vision was silent. Then the blue light glowed brighter, washing over her, and a soft voice, not Helena's, but something older, filled Ethan's mind. "She came home in the only way she could." The vision flickered. Helena stood by a tall willow tree, her hand resting against its bark. Light swirled around her feet. Then the image faded, and she became nothing more than a shimmer in the air. The forest returned to normal. The cold air rushed back in. Ethan gasped, suddenly aware of how quickly he was breathing. The blue glow hovered once more above the feather, but it looked weaker now, as if showing the vision had taken energy from it. Ethan reached out and gently picked up the feather. It was warm. Warm like sunlight. Warm like a small hand in a larger one. The glow bobbed once, like a nod. Then it faded into the night. The forest exhaled. Ethan remained still for a long time, letting the quiet wrap around him like a protective blanket. Nothing in his life had ever felt so unreal, yet completely true. He tucked the feather carefully into his coat and headed back toward the town. His steps were slow. Each one felt as if he were returning from some place deeply sacred. The next morning, Ethan woke to sunlight flooding his small bedroom. For a moment he wondered if he had dreamed the entire thing, but when he sat up, the white feather lay on his bedside table, glowing faintly in the morning light. He lifted it and felt the same gentle warmth. At the library, he couldn't focus. Every book he shelved reminded him of the forest. Every quiet corner seemed filled with hidden whispers. A few patrons noticed his distraction, but no one asked. Willowbrook was the kind of place where quiet people were allowed to stay quiet.
Around noon, he wandered into the town archive section of the library, where old newspapers were stored in dusty metal drawers. He pulled out the articles for Helena Carter's disappearance. Headlines blurred together. Local girl vanishes in Willow Forest. No leads in Carter case. Search called off after 2 weeks. But one article stood out. It mentioned that Helena frequently played in the forest and believed the trees could talk to her. She told classmates she could see lights where no lights should be. Most kids' imaginations are chalked up to folly, but Ethan knew better now. He returned to the forest that night. He didn't expect to see the blue light again. Mysteries rarely unfold twice, but the forest seemed